What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, everything you need to know about here on a daily basis. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on new videos. And if you find these videos helpful, don't forget to hit the like button for us down below. We got some breaking new information coming out here just today here. Unbelievable. This is just unbelievable how we're still finding out this information here on Uvalde shooting. And the House of Representatives is going to be voting on a new measure here this week on assault rifles here. I'll get to this here in a minute. But the Texas House Committee has just released information on the Uvalde shooting, and it says here that 376 responders from various agencies were on scene that day. Almost 400 responders. Police, let me see here the details here. 149 from U.S. Border Patrol, Homeland Security, 91 from Department of Public Safety, Police Department, San Antonio Police Department, Uvalde County Sheriff. Just unbelievable. Almost 400 responders. I mean, these are guys that are armed, right? I mean, you can see here from the picture. I'll show you a quick excerpt of footage and what parents are saying. You can see here in this report from Texas, they're calling this, quote, systemic failures in Uvalde school massacre. The report finds, the actual report finds this. This is not an opinion. This is actually in the report. Systemic failures by the system, by the police department, by the actual officials, the armed officials that were there to protect the students. They waited 77 minutes before engaging the shooter in the hallway. Yeah, take a listen to this.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We're following breaking news this hour. Breaking news, I should say, this hour. This release of this 100-plus page report by the Texas House Investigative Committee looking into what took place during the Uvalde shooting. Of course, based off of this video that we are seeing here that was obviously released last week, leaks last week. The parents receiving this full report, and we're getting confirmation now that some of those parents have this report in hand. I want to bring in Priscilla Thompson for us, who's on the ground for us in Uvalde, Texas, has been following this story. Getting parents' reactions as well over the last few days or so. And Priscilla, talk to me as we are learning more details from this report, these 400 or so officers, both state and federal, that were on the ground there in response, doing nothing for 1+ hour. Where to point the finger? Who holds the responsibility for what went wrong? What more are we learning?
Yeah, some pretty startling information in this report. But I've got to tell you, from speaking to some of the families in this community, and particularly those who have lost loved ones, I don't know that they are surprised by this information because of just after seeing this, or after even just hearing that they're 77 minutes past. You had to have known that something here went terribly wrong. And so now I think we're getting the specific details about where exactly those failures are. And notably, so much of the conversation around accountability has focused on the school police chief, Pete Arredondo, but this report appears to really sort of spread the accountability out among all of these different agencies that were on site. You mentioned the hundreds of officers who were there from various agencies, saying that everyone had a responsibility in this situation, and there were systemic failures is some of what was mentioned in that report, though notably they make it a point to say, like, the only person in this situation who operated with any sort of ill will was the shooter, and who had malice, and that was the shooter. But they also say this report is not going to bring any of these loved ones that have been lost back, and they recognize that. And just in speaking with some of the family members, I think that's something that they acknowledge too. Like, this report for some of them means nothing. It does nothing for them because their child or their grandchild or their sibling is still lost in all of this. And of course, the thing that they don't see, and I'll be curious to speak to more folks once they actually read through more of this report, is what they're looking for is a lot of the accountability here. Is, okay, what does accountability look like? Does it look like people being
Yeah.
fired? Does it look like systemic changes to ensure that this doesn't happen again? We're also seeing in this report a lot of information about some of the security measures at the school, like the door being propped open or the fencing. Is any of that going to change moving forward? And so I think that families and people in this community are looking for change. And, you know, I have no doubt, we just watched live the committee gavel in, and they're heading to the junior college to meet with these families. And I have no doubt that is going to be another very difficult meeting, another very difficult moment for these families, because while this report does provide information, it's not going to bring a loved one back, and we're not seeing that accountability yet that so many people in this community are looking for and have been calling for. But hopefully these answers will provide something. I'm just not sure how far that something goes in this community that is dealing with so much hurt and so much loss.
Well, and I wonder, Priscilla, because when I was on the ground there, directly following the shooting, there was already so much mistrust with the information that was trickling out, because every day something that was said the day before was proved wrong, right? And that has continued to happen and continues to happen. And even as parents read this report, I wonder if they even trust what they're reading, right? How can they at this point, considering how botched all of this has been?
That is another huge piece of it, Yasmin. In fact, when we were speaking with the grandfather of Layla Salazar, he said he doesn't believe he'll ever get the truth. He will read the report, he will digest it, but he doesn't know if this is a cover-up or if there's something being hidden or not accurately communicated in this report. And so already in his mind, he says he doesn't think he's ever going to know what really happened and all of the facts and all of the details. But what he does say is that regardless of what the facts may be, he feels like the root problem, having lived through this experience, is that he wants to see some sort of gun reform. And so in speaking with him, the conversation went there. Like, yes, there should be accountability for the people involved in this specific situation, but also there has to be a bigger change to ensure that this doesn't happen and that officers, and let alone children, are not placed in this situation again. And he feels like that can only be achieved by changing the gun laws so that an 18-year-old can't get their hands on an AR-15 and walk into a school and do something like this.
Yeah, so even one of the official reports here from Uvalde calls it a systemic failure. And now the U.S. House of Representatives is going to be voting on this week a assault rifle ban. And you know, it's interesting because you see all these officers there in the hallway, um, just waiting, just waiting. 376 of them in total there, while one shooter is there with all these children's lives at risk. And they have assault rifles. They have assault rifles. Um, you know, of course, you know, police officers and have them. The question is should average everyday citizens have them? Should 18-year-olds have them? Should 21-year-olds have them? Should you be able to get these? Should civilians have these? I've seen a lot of comments from veterans. Thank you for your service, by the way. I've had several family members in the armed services in my family, but I've had several, or probably hundreds of comments of people from armed service members in the comment section, of people who question whether regular everyday people should be able to buy AR-15s or what they consider assault rifles. I know different people have different definitions of this, but the U.S. House of Representatives is going to be voting on banning these this week. They used to be banned. They used to be banned in the United States, and that ban expired. So you can let me know your thoughts here on this. Remember, they passed a gun legislation here just a few weeks ago, and but a lot of people say it did very little. It did very little. This is, of course, after these shootings here. But here are some details on what could come of this vote here. Check this out. And this is with Congressman David Cicilline, who is on the House Armed Services speaking here.
Let's talk about the potential assault weapons ban. You're the lead House sponsor on a bill banning assault weapons. The last ban expired in 2004 after so many mass shootings. Do you think this time is really different? Can an assault weapons ban get passed?
Absolutely. We have 213 co-sponsors of the bill, the highest number we've ever had. I'm continuing to work with the remaining members of our caucus and many Republicans to try to get additional votes. These are weapons of war. Researchers estimate that if the assault weapons ban were in effect, there would be 70% less deaths by mass shootings. So this would have been a significant impact over the last many years. And this is an opportunity to put that ban back into effect. The president has called for it. These are weapons of war that are designed to kill as many people as quickly as possible. 2/3 of Americans think they don't belong in the neighborhoods of our communities. And so the House is going to take that bill up this week. And I expect we'll pass it out and send it to the House floor.
Right. It'll pass out of the committee. It'll pass out of the House of Representatives. And then it'll go to the Senate, where it will most likely die. What's it going to take to get folks in the Senate to do what the House is going to do and what a majority of the American people want done?
Well, I mean, the American people have to continue to make certain that they are demanding that Congress do everything it can to keep them safe from gun violence in this country. We have a gun violence epidemic. The assault weapons ban, when it was last in effect, it worked. There was a significant reduction in mass shootings and a significant reduction in deaths. And we have to hold people accountable who don't do everything they can to keep America safe from gun violence. So we're going to pass it out of the House, and then I think the American people are going to demand the Senate take action. And if they don't, there's an election in November, and they're going to hold people accountable. There's one party that's fighting for common sense gun safety legislation, and there's one party that's standing in the way on behalf of the gun lobby, and the American people know the difference.
Yeah, so let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Do you think that assault weapons should be banned? Do you think this is something they used to be banned? President Biden said that we've seen a significant decrease in shootings from these weapons. So, I mean, it's almost common sense that we would see shootings from those weapons when they were banned because, well, they were banned. You couldn't go out and just buy them. So now you can just go out and buy them. So yeah, you can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Would be only a ban on those guns. There's still regular handguns. Remember that there is currently around 400 million guns in the United States. So there's actually more guns in the United States than there is people. There's around 330 million people in the United States, including women, children, and babies. So there's actually more guns than the entire population of the United States. So it's not like there's a shortage of guns or they're going to take all our. I always see some comments, they're going to take all our guns away or something like that. That's far from the truth. There's more guns than people. So the question is, how do we rein in some of these? How do we stop some of these incidences happening at schools and July 4th parades and you let me know your thoughts here in the comments. How do we solve part of the problem? Because remember, the majority of these are bought legally because you can just go into a store that sells these and buy them. That's actually a lot easier than finding someone on the street that has an assault rifle and buying them illegally. Believe it or not, because when you can just go buy it legally and just plop down some money, believe it or not, statistics show that when they find these, when they find out who did these, and when they catch them or they shoot them, police officer or something like that, the majority of time, they bought them legally. So, yeah, I know it's a controversial subject, but you know, now's the time to do this because when we had the Sandy Hook incidences and we had the Columbine incidences, and when we had a lot of these incidences in the past, um, a lot of those times nothing was passed. Nothing was passed. So now it's like if we don't get stuff passed now, now's kind of the moment. Now's kind of the moment. Yeah, and you kind of see it's now kind of been a culmination up to now. People are demanding stuff be passed now. We've had several kind of high profile cases that have made it to national news. Remember these mass shootings? There's been more mass shootings in that happen every year actually than days of the year. And those are only with people that have 4 or more shot per day. Or I'm sorry, those are mass shootings are with 4 or more people shot in the incident. Regular shootings, there's 128 people that die every single day in just regular shootings every single day. So yeah, yeah. So it's really kind of an. You let me know your thoughts here. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. So make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel. It's completely free to do so. I will keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here. And they're going to vote here on it this week. So we will see what happens. You can click here to see new money going out here for SNAP and pandemic EBT and more. And you won't believe what the Supreme Court wants to do next. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.